Have you ever felt like you're surrounded by people, yet no one really sees what's going on inside you? Like there's an invisible barrier between you and the world, and your experiences go unnoticed. Person walking alone at night, you catch yourself asking, am I different somehow? And this isn't just loneliness, it's a deep psychological pattern most people overlook. You notice that your way of thinking is slightly different. When others settle for simple solutions, you're scanning for every hidden pattern, every subtle connection. Abstract brain animation. Small details give you meaning, while others might miss them entirely. This trait becomes part of your identity. Your brain naturally processes patterns and connections, even if others don't see them. It can lead to overthinking or heightened emotional sensitivity. But here's the thing, you're not broken. Visual, slow-moving light patterns. What you feel is actually an adaptation. Your mind and nervous system evolved to pick up on subtle emotional cues and small details that most people ignore. This is what makes you rare, not flawed. From a neuroscience perspective, it's easier to understand how your brain works. Your prefrontal cortex and anterior cingulate cortex, the areas responsible for complex decision-making and error detection, are naturally more active. Waves moving slowly. Think of your brain like a microscope, built to zoom in on small details. Sometimes it overloads, but this same mechanism gives you a deeper awareness of emotional patterns. Another simple model. Your mind is like a radar scanning for social and emotional frequencies, giving you rare insights, though sometimes overwhelming. If you want to use this trait to your advantage, there are practical science-backed ways. First, recognize your internal signals. Notebook with one sentence written. When you feel uneasy in a situation, don't ignore it. It's your brain's alert system. Cognitive psychology shows that emotional cues guide decision-making. Real-life example. If a meeting or gathering feels off, trust your intuition. You might notice subtle conflicts or patterns before anyone else does. Second, structure your overthinking. Visual, slow-moving light patterns. Behavioral psychology tells us that when the brain scans multiple possibilities, mental fatigue and distraction occur. Practical step: write your thoughts down and identify patterns. This gives your frontal cortex clarity. Example: noticing that you overanalyze every small detail becomes manageable when you organize it on paper. Third, engage in creative expression. Neuroscience shows that activating the default mode network and prefrontal cortex through creative tasks releases dopamine and serotonin, helping with emotional regulation and mental clarity. Empty room with sunlight. Examples: painting, music or journaling. Even small creative activities organize your mind and help process subtle emotional patterns. Fourth, develop self-compassion. Behavioral psychology and self-determination theory explain that the brain fixates on negative self-talk if it doesn't receive reward and safety signals. Person meditating quietly. Critiquing your rare traits is natural, but approaching yourself gently calms your nervous system. Example: when you start judging your sensitive nature, a few minutes of deep breathing and reflection resets your system. Fifth, curate your environment and relationships. Person walking in nature. Social neuroscience shows that your brain adapts based on social rewards and stress cues. Choose people and spaces that value your subtle perception and emotional depth. Example: a friend group that respects insight and reflection rather than surface-level gossip leaves you energized and safe. Now, tie it all into one mental model. Imagine your mind as an emotional radar plus microscope combo. The radar scans subtle signals, the microscope zooms in on details. Visual, abstract brain animation. When you understand and use this tool, clarity, insight, and emotional depth naturally emerge. Remember, your rare personality isn't a flaw. It can be your superpower if nurtured. Finally, reflect calmly. Your brain is built to notice subtle and unique things. Waves moving slowly. This rare personality isn't just a label, it's a reflection of your complexity and depth. You might